Hey everybody, today we're going to learn about how to find remote jobs. Remote jobs are a great option if you want to be a digital nomad, and there's more and more of them with every passing day, because more and more companies are recognizing that they can spend less money if they hire people remote. Well, there's two advantages. One, they can hire people from anywhere. I mean, if you're a company in San Francisco and you only hire in an office, well then you only get to hire people that live in San Francisco, right? Whereas if you hire remote, then you get the whole country or multiple countries, maybe the whole world that can apply to your jobs, right? So you have a much bigger selection of job candidates. And also, you don't have to pay for an office. So a lot of companies are recognizing this, and a lot of companies are switching to hiring for remote jobs. So remote jobs are becoming more and more abundant. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to find remote jobs. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of different ways to find remote jobs, and I'm going to show you why you might want to. Now, as you know, this is just step one in the Digital Nomad University roadmap. So if you're watching this just as a standalone, as the free offer, then this is step one in the full Digital Nomad University system, which will get you from stuck in traffic on the way to the office to complete freedom to travel the world. And then if you're doing this as part of the Digital Nomad University course, then of course you have access to the whole system here. Okay, so why would you want a remote job? Well, there's a few reasons that people opt for a remote job. As you know, that there's multiple ways to make money, not tied to a location. And getting a remote job is just one of those ways. There's a bunch of different ways. If you bought the Digital Nomad University course, you will learn a bunch of those ways in detail. But remote job is nice if you want a steady, reliable income. Right? If you're used to having a job, if you're used to having that paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, remote job is nice because you don't have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from. You always have that paycheck coming in. And then another benefit is that you earn a first world income while paying third world prices. That's of course if you know how to travel in such a way as you take advantage of those prices around the world. But if you get a remote job that's based in San Francisco, let's say, well, you're getting San Francisco prices, maybe a little bit less because San Francisco is expensive, and part of the perks for the company itself is that they can pay a little bit less than they would have to pay, if somebody was buying an apartment in San Francisco or some expensive city like that. But basically, you still get that American income or a Canadian income or a English income, or wherever you live. If you lived in a first world country and you get hired by a company in a first world country, you're still making that first world income, even though you may not be paying first world prices if you're doing this digital nomad system. Now, the drawbacks to having a remote job, there are some drawbacks, which is why I stopped doing it. I don't have a remote job anymore. The drawbacks are that you're tied to a time zone. So most of the time, if you have a remote job, you have to work the same work hours as the company, right? So if you're working a job in United States, it's going to be kind of difficult to travel to Asia, let's say, because the time zones are opposite, unless you want to stay up all night and work and then sleep during the day. Otherwise, that's going to be a pain, but you're kind of stuck in places that are similar time zones. So, if you work in North America, then you could travel anywhere in the Caribbean or Latin America or South America, or you can go to Europe and be, working kind of late, like 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., something like that. But there's some parts of the world where it just doesn't work very well. So you're tied to the time zone. You still have the rigid schedule, right? You don't get to make your own schedule, generally speaking, because it's a job and they expect you to be into the job from 9 to 5 or whatever it is. You have more flexibility than a regular job just because nobody can see when you get up from the desk, right? So if you want to run an errand in the middle of the day, probably that's fine. When I worked a remote job, I never had any trouble with that. But it's still a more rigid schedule than if you're doing something like freelancing, or if you own your own business, or you're doing drop shipping, or you're doing affiliate marketing, something like that. Those things, you get a completely free schedule. With this, you're kind of stuck to whatever schedule the company wants you to have. And then the last drawback is there's a ceiling on your earning potential. All you make is your paycheck, and maybe you get a raise at the end of the year, right? Maybe if you do excellent work, you get a merit bonus, whatever. But generally speaking, you're stuck with a normal paycheck. You don't get that unlimited income potential like you do with the freelance work, with the affiliate marketing, with the drop shipping, with all these other options that I go over in the rest of the Digital Nomad University course. Okay, so what kind of work can you do remote? Well, the answer is just about anything, right? And there's more and more jobs, more and more job categories that are switching to remote. So I'll go over a few of them here. This is by no means exhaustive. You can do computer programming, web design, graphic design, data entry, customer service, lawyer consultations, doctor consultations. I thought that was interesting. You know, I kind of searched for in my head, what's a job that couldn't get around this, that couldn't possibly work remote? And one of the categories I thought of was doctor. Well, it turns out that there are actually remote jobs for doctors. You can just do consultations with people over the phone, and if they need to see, if you need to see the person's rash they have on their skin or whatever, you can just see it in a webcam or take a picture of it and then send them a prescription over email, right? So even like the most location dependent jobs, it seems, sometimes are actually, you can get around that. And then accounting, SEO, marketing, and teaching. And actually, if you speak fluent English, if you're American or Canadian or British or Australian, especially if you're a native English speaker, you can get paid a pretty nice amount of money to teach English to kids in China and other countries around the world on the internet. It's pretty amazing. I've seen people making like $18 to $22 an hour just teaching English with basically no qualifications. I mean, you don't need to have a college degree. You don't need to be like a expert English literature major, something like that, right? You just have to be able to speak English. Anyway, this is by no means exhaustive. Like I said, there's some things on here that are kind of specialized, right? Not everybody can be a computer programmer, and some of them that don't really require much skill at all, like data entry or customer service, right? Almost anybody can get a customer service job, and there are more and more and more customer service jobs that are going fully remote. Okay, now here's where to find remote jobs. I'm going to tell you there's a whole bunch of different options, as you can see. I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to demonstrate how exactly to do it with each of these categories. First one is your current employer. It might be that your current employer will let you work from home. You can look for jobs on remote job sites. There's special sites specifically for remote jobs. Or you can look on regular job sites because remote jobs are posted there a lot too. You can set up Google Alerts, which I'll explain in a bit. You can find them through recruiters or employment agencies. You can find them through Facebook pages and groups. You can find them from company websites, and you can find them through networking. So let's go into all of those in a little bit more detail. So first option, which is probably like the first option you should explore, is with your current employer. If you're already working at a job, you have to work in an office, but you would rather not work in an office. And it's a job where you could not work in an office. It's like a job that you do completely on the computer, and you don't really need to go into the office. You're not like stocking shelves at a grocery store or something. It's something that's a desk job. Well, see if you can figure it out with your current employer. And here's a little method that I got from the Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, which I thought was an awesome book. Anyway, this is his idea. Call in sick one day from work and work from home. So you bring your computer home and work from home. Tell your boss that you're sick, but you really don't want to get behind on work. So is it okay if I work from home this one day? And then if the boss says yes, then go work from home that day. And then make sure that that one day is the most productive day of work that you have ever had. And then when you come back into the office, tell your boss, how productive you were, that, since you don't have all the distractions, you don't have all the people trying to talk to you, right? You have the peace and quiet of your home. You were able to be super productive, and ask the boss if he might let you do it once a week. And then do it once a week for a little while, work from home once a week for a little while, if he agrees, obviously. And make sure that that one day a week is the most productive day of the week, and then go back and ask for twice a week, right? And make sure that that twice a week is the most productive time of the week. You get the idea, until eventually you can ask to go full time. And then if sometimes your employer will want you to be working from home, because you said you're working from home and your employer might be a little nervous about you working on the road. Well, you can be honest with them and say that you want to work on the road, or I'll leave it up to you. I'm not making any ethical judgments here. I won't judge you. Or you can use what's called a VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, which is a program that you can download, which will make your computer appear like it's in a different place than it is. So if you want to appear like you are still in the USA when you're off in Brazil, let's say, you can use a VPN program that will show an IP address to everything that it accesses, showing in a USA IP address. So everybody who sees that computer will think that you're still in the USA. And actually, if you're going to be a digital nomad in general, I definitely recommend getting a VPN for other reasons too, because some websites just won't let you access them. For example, I have a bank website that I try to access here in Brazil, where I am now, and the site won't let me in. It just says that our service is not available in your country. You know, I'm an American, and I have an account with this American bank, but because they sense that the computer is in Brazil, like, they won't let me into the website to view my account. It would be a giant pain, except that I have a VPN, so I can just set my VPN to a US IP address, and then it's not a problem. So, you know, we'll get into that more as the Digital Nomad University course goes on. But anyway, I definitely recommend that if you're traveling, you know, even if you're not trying to tell your boss that you're still in the country. And then a phone number spoofer is something that you can get that that will make your phone number look like it is coming from someplace other than where it is, right? You probably know how that works if you get phone calls from these guys in India that have your local area code somehow. That's the same thing. Or you can get a phone plan that is an American carrier that will let you use the phone plan abroad, which is what I do. And again, this is something I'll go over later in the course. Okay, probably the easiest way to find remote jobs is remote job websites. So there's a whole bunch of them. WeWorkRemotely.com, Remote.co, WorkingNomads.co, RemoteOK.io, Jobspresso.co. And let me close out of this real quick, and I will show you, WeWorkRemotely.com. Let me show you that real quick. Okay, let's go to find a job. So, latest post 33 minutes ago, customer support jobs, customer support engineer, customer happiness, customer success strategist, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so a whole bunch of customer support positions. DevOps and sysadmin. This is fancy IT stuff. So if you're in IT, I mean, IT is awesome if you want to be a digital nomad because you make pretty good salaries and a lot of the jobs are remote. Sales and marketing. You see there's a ton of them, right? And programming, that's another IT position. Business and management. Finance and legal. So you see there's something for just about anyone, right? There's an online English teacher. I told you that's huge. There's so many people in China. I think that the Chinese government is subsidizing it actually. So they'll pay you what seems like unreasonably high amount of money to teach English online, and you can do that from anywhere. It's pretty cool. A recruiter, another online English teacher, social media manager. I bet some of you guys could do that. Freelance essay writer. Anyway, so I won't go into that anymore, but yeah, so that's an awesome option. And then that's just one of the remote job sites. There's a bunch more. Okay, now regular job sites. Regular job sites that you find normal jobs will also have a whole bunch of remote jobs. So sites like LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, ZipRecruiter, and Craigslist. And the trick with regular job sites is you got to find them, right? Because some of these HR people are not very good at listing them. So they'll sometimes, like, there will be like in my example before, if a company in San Francisco is listing a remote job, when they put the location, they will put San Francisco. So you won't find the job unless you're looking for San Francisco, which is ridiculous, but sometimes they just don't think of it. But knowing that that's the case will give you an edge when you're trying to find those jobs, because you don't have to compete with everybody around the world except the people who know this little trick that I'm going to show you. Right, mostly you're just competing with people who are searching for San Francisco. So what I recommend is that you try search terms like remote and virtual office and try them in both the job search field and the description field. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's do LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is my favorite job site in general. You should definitely have a LinkedIn profile, by the way, if you don't already, and you should have it well filled in with all your skills, because people will contact you from your LinkedIn profile. Jobs. I'm gonna go to jobs. Okay, so let's do a search for remote. In this is the like, what do you call it? The description search bar. So here we go. Get a bunch of them. Now some of these promoted ones sometimes don't fit the bill, right? Probably this isn't a remote job, so you can ignore those. But here, freelance UX researcher, and these are based in Brazil, because I'm in Brazil. I'm not using my VPN at the moment, so it thinks that I'm looking for jobs in Brazil. So even Brazil has remote jobs available. A lot of people think that you have to be American or Canadian or European in order to find remote jobs, but even that's not true. There's Brazilian companies hiring remote jobs too. So senior consultant, remote. Some of these, they're not all going to fit the bill, by the way. Like some of them, they'll have remote control operator somewhere in the description or something, and so it'll come up for a search for remote. So you have to dig through it a little bit to figure out which ones are relevant, and then you can search other things too, like experience level, date posted. Probably you can search by like job category. Remote regional sales manager, treasury. So you can see there's a bunch of options there. Okay, now we're going to try searching remote in the location bar, because some of them will list them as remote under location. Not all of them do. That's why I'm telling you, search in both the description bar and the location bar. So these are promoted. We'll skip those. And then they're not showing remote on. Okay, this one's remote. Maybe these are all remote, actually, because it shows as Lisbon, but it says remote. Work from home appointment setting. Okay, yeah, they've changed this a little bit, but if you put remote in the location bar, then it'll come up with a bunch of remote jobs. And it's going to be a little bit different with all the different platforms. If you're doing LinkedIn, if you're doing Monster, if you're doing Indeed, it's always going to be a little bit different. So mess around with it, figure out what works. Try virtual office too. That's another one. There you go. So virtual remote home office eligible. Some of them will be called virtual office instead of remote. Oh, there we go. Virtual office / work from home, which actually probably you should try work from home too, because that'll bring up some other ones. Okay, so that's it for the regular job sites. You get the idea there. Now the next idea is Google Alerts. Now for you guys who've never heard of Google Alerts is a service that Google offers where any new web page that comes up that meets certain descriptions, it's like a search kind of, except that it's only for things that are brand new. So you can set your alerts to like once a day, and you can set them such that when there's something brand new, that that has a remote job, it will send you an email, and it will send you one email per day with all of those new pages that list remote jobs, which is pretty cool because you are getting this real time, which means that you are the first to get these job postings, which means you can be the first to apply to the job. So if the job is competitive, that gives you an advantage because you can be first. So let me show you how that works. These are the keywords, by the way, which I'll show you in just a minute. So job description and remote. These are the things that you're looking for in the new pages. Because if you think of a normal remote job listing, it will have a job description and it will have the word remote, or it will have the word virtual office, or I could have put work from home in there too. So, or they might have job title, right? So probably these are going to be the same, but maybe sometimes there'll be one and not the other. Anyway, let's give that a try. We'll go to google.com/alerts. And then we can create alert about job description and remote. So the alert preview is what this will look like. So there you go. Remote HEDIS RN. Oh, so that's a nurse. There's another example of a job that seems like you would have to be on location, but you can do remote too. You can be a remote nurse. So So yeah, you can click on that. Let's take a look at it. And this is Adecco. This is a recruiter, I think. So you're getting the job page directly, right? This is not listed on Monster. This is not listed on LinkedIn. This is the job page directly. That's why Google Alerts is so powerful, is because it shows you those pages directly. Cool, and then this one I don't think is relevant. You know, sometimes you're going to get stuff in there that's not relevant. This is Natchez Democrat. I think that's a news article. Anyway, so when I hit create alert, then I can have them send that to my email every day or however so often I want. It could be every week, and they will send me everything new that meets those descriptions that I put in that search window. So awesome way to keep up with the newest remote jobs that are available in the market. Okay, next one is recruiters or employment agencies. And when I told you before that you should definitely have a LinkedIn profile, well, when I had a remote job for about a year and a half, and I got that remote job, I didn't even look for it. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking about getting a remote job. I just had a recruiter call me based on what they saw about me on LinkedIn and ask if I wanted the remote job. And it was a great job. It was same paycheck I was getting from the like office job that I was getting before, but it was 100% remote. It was really nice. That's what really, you know, kind of kicked off my digital nomad journey. Anyway, so they found me from LinkedIn because I have a very complete, very compelling LinkedIn profile. So if you don't have a complete and compelling LinkedIn profile, then work on that because you might just have an awesome remote job fall into your lap if you do that. And then Monster and Indeed and some of these other job sites will let you post a resume too. I get calls from recruiters every now and again from other websites too that I've posted a resume. So definitely something that you should do because you might just end up with a remote job without even really having to try. By the way, if you don't know what a recruiter or an employment agency is exactly, it's somebody who gets paid by companies to find people to work in their jobs. So if a company is hiring for a job, it's a computer programmer job, let's say, then they'll go out and look for the ideal person to fit that job. And if they find that person, then the company pays them. It pays them like a commission for that. So there are these people that are always looking for people to fill jobs. So you want to make sure, if you're looking for a job, you want to make sure that you are as visible to those people as you possibly can be. Okay, now the next one is Facebook pages or groups. And there's two of them that I know of. There's probably more. My favorite is called Guava Bean. Guava Bean is a remote, like a digital nomad group where they put remote jobs. There's a whole bunch of people in the group, and people will post when they have remote jobs or sometimes freelance opportunities, which we'll get into in the next lesson a little bit more. But they post jobs for the people in the Facebook group, so you get special access to it if you're in the Facebook group because they post it there first. And Guava Bean also has a weekly newsletter where they take all of the jobs that were posted in their Facebook group and they put all the links into the one weekly email. So and it's free too. Everything's completely free. So that's a great opportunity. Again, there's jobs in all different kind of fields. And then another Facebook page is called Digital Nomads Jobs and Opportunities. So just search both of those in the Facebook search bar and you will find both of them. Another way is for company websites. So this is a little bit complicated, but basically what you do is you look for companies similar to the companies you've already found that are offering remote jobs. So let's give that a try. And then we're going to search companies similar to that company in Google. And then we're going to go to their websites and look at the jobs or careers section. So I'll do this just real quick because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. So let's go back to that remote job site we looked at before. And let's say Theranest. That sounds interesting. So let's say we're interested in being a customer happiness officer or whatever that is. And so the company is called Theranest. We can see if we can find some companies that are similar to Theranest, because since Theranest is hiring remote, maybe other companies like it will also be hiring remote. So let's say companies similar to Theranest. There we go. And we have Theranest alternatives, competitors, and similar software. And there we go. So we have Athena Communicator, CareLogic. Well, this is a medical thing, so let's try that first one. Let's try Athena Communicator. We're just going to search it in Google and take a look at their careers page. And this isn't always going to work, by the way, so don't be disappointed. You might have to go through a few to find any that actually do have remote jobs. But what we can do is we can go to their careers page and search jobs. And let's say customer service, right? That's what we wanted to do. There we go, okay. Okay, there we go. It doesn't seem like any of these are remote, but they might be. So, Client Support Center Analyst, Belfast, Maine, I think. Okay, so this one probably is not a remote job. So that was a dead end, but we can go back to that list of all those companies that are similar to Theranest, and we can keep going through them and see if we can find some other companies that are hiring remote by going directly to their career pages. So that way we can get some of the careers that maybe we would have missed if we're just looking on job sites, because not everybody lists their jobs on job sites. So I won't, go through that whole exercise because that's going to take up more time than we have on this video. But that's another way that you can find jobs that pretty much nobody else are finding. And then another way, obviously, is networking, right? So you can meet as many people as you can, be interested in them, and think about how you can help. A lot of jobs aren't even jobs, right? A lot of jobs are not listed anywhere, including the company's website. But if you meet people who run businesses, oftentimes they need help with something, or they would like help with something. They don't even know how to articulate it, right? They don't even know how to write a job description about it. They don't know that there's anyone in the world that can help them. So the more people you meet, the more you can offer to solve their problems. And if you can solve their problems, then they may well hire you to do it. And if they hire you to do it, chances are they trust you enough that they would be willing to hire you to work remote, right? So a lot of opportunities there if you're good at networking and talking to people. Okay, so that's it. That's a whole bunch of different ideas that you can do, that you can just start doing today to find remote jobs. And like I said, remote jobs are expanding, expanding, and expanding. It's going to be easier and easier and easier to find remote jobs. And I mean, it's still a little competitive. Don't expect that you're going to find it in like 10 minutes, right? That's why I gave you all of these different options that you can use to find remote jobs, including the ones that are kind of hidden, the ones that most people that are looking for remote jobs just aren't happening upon. So now you have a whole bunch of tools in your arsenal if you want to find remote jobs. Now, if you're watching the free remote jobs guide by itself, this is just step 1 in my 9-step process to going from having an office job, being stuck in some location, stuck going into an office every day, stuck in traffic every day, to complete freedom to travel the world. So if you would like to escape the office and get that complete freedom to travel the world, this is the 9-step process to do it. I've given you all of the details for one of those steps, but there's still 8 more steps that you're missing. So if you want the whole process, including how to find locations and how to get around those locations, how to do banking, how to do credit cards, how to do phone plans, how to find places where you can triple or quadruple your lifestyle, even with the same income. And if you want to know how to get the best deals on travel, how to save hundreds or thousands of dollars on plane tickets, on Airbnbs, on hotels, on accommodations, on everything that you need to be able to travel the world, then consider enrolling in Digital Nomad University. It will teach you all of that. It's based on my, I think, 4 years now. I don't even remember the last time that I went into an office, but I've had a lot of experience doing this digital nomad lifestyle. I've packaged everything that I know into this one program. So definitely consider enrolling. And if you're already enrolled and you're watching this as part of the full Digital Nomad University system, then congratulations for taking the action to take control of your life. And I will see you in the next lesson.